When I'm sleeping, I get to be whoever or whatever I want to be. My brain can run wild, or not at all. I can be inspired as well as rested. It's when I wake up that things get a bit more difficult. But maybe I can find out who I am through the way I dress. School uniform. For years, I had to conform to this pre-prescribed formula, and now, freedom, as long as it's a dark grey suit. More recently, I've been entrusted with the role and appearance change of prefect. This role of enforcer and mentor, an acquirement of social and cultural power, now encourages boys in the lower school to look up to me. Not a particularly good idea. These are my home clothes. For the most part, it's your stereotypical middle-class teenager. Whilst all this is well and good, it really doesn't define who I am just by me wearing the clothes. It's people's reactions to this appearance that counts the most, and Cooley's looking glass theory states that we learn about ourselves from people's reactions to us. I can see that working, but I thought I'd try it out for myself with a little experiment. Welcome to Marlow High Street. It's the nicest one in Buckinghamshire, until you hit regatta weekend, and then it becomes a cesspit for underage drinking, casual drug abuse, and posh toffs getting started on by chavs with nowhere better to be. Which is the highlight of the year. Marlow is about to be graced with the presence of the three Chris's. Chris number 1 is normal me, the one you've been chatting to for the last few minutes. Chris 2 is a bit more ghetto, or at least he thinks he is. Oh, bless. Chris number 3 likes black. I mean, he really likes black. Black is awesome. As John Paul Sartre said, it's a plot. We learn about ourselves through others. So let's see how people react to our 3 Chris experiment on Marlow High Street.
Sirens come in. I can hear them sirens come in. Better run when you hear them sirens come in. I can hear them sirens come in. 1 to the 2 to the 3 to the 4. Landmass police knocking at my door. 12 black boots on my bedroom floor. What they want with Rascal, I'm not sure.
Interesting. People's stereotypical opinion of the person behind each appearance, and the codes and conventions associated with the way I dressed, clearly changed the proxemics that people used when around me. So my appearance can indirectly have a massive effect on people's perceptions of me, and their expectations of what my role should be as a result of what I'm wearing. However, I can choose not to embrace a stereotype. Postmodernists such as Strinati would say, I can reject these stereotypes and expectations, and I am only adhering to the system if I do fulfill them. So I don't think appearance is a good way to define my role in society. Perhaps by looking at my daily interactions with people, and each role I fulfill on a day-to-day basis, I will gain a greater understanding of who I am, by gathering information regarding my identity, and its reliance on roles to accredit myself. I am brother, I am son, I am boyfriend, I am pupil. All these are my personas. Persona literally means mask, although it does not usually refer to a literal mask, but to the social masks all humans supposedly wear. First up is owner. This is my dog. He's simple. Feed plus walk equals unchallenged affection. No one else I know would react with any particular joy if I rubbed their belly button on. See what I mean? This is hardly a defining role. I can't live my life as a dog owner. It only changes the way people react to me if they like dogs or loathe them, and I receive appropriate responses for each. A slightly more defining role is that of brother. This is Andy. He has far too much hair. We have a complicated relationship, kind of like Marmite, and as a result, even our heart could lead to strangulation. Then there's son, which changes from parent to parent. My dad is sometimes just the human bank account, but is also a good mate of mine, who occasionally will offer advice, but mainly will still support me. My mum is my rock. I could talk to her about everything from girlfriends to third lord death, even if she can be a bit slow first thing in the morning. Then I'm my best friend. Martin and I have known each other since we were 10. This is our secret handshake. I can be pretty much whoever I want to be around Martin. There's no pressure to conform. These are other guy friends and lesser friends. They're fairly easy to deal with. There's not much pressure to behave any particular way, and I can ignore them if I want to. I just have to occasionally engage in sympathetic communication to keep the door hinges old enough to get through the door one day if I want to. Student, prefect, writer, bassist, boyfriend, friend. These are all titles, roles I fulfill, have learned my way into, or was born to do. But I would still be me if I had none of these roles. Feral children, however, can find their own roles. For example, the case of Edik in Mieni, Ukraine. Abandoned and alone, he found himself adopted into a pack of wild dogs, and his role took on the same as one of their own, and this severely influenced his behaviour. This is the nature versus nurture argument. Many of my roles arise from the environment I was raised in. I wouldn't be a prefect if I didn't go to a certain kind of school. I wouldn't play bass in a pop rock band if I didn't listen to that kind of music. That's the point, actually. Maybe the music I listen to provides my identity. What about films, the books I enjoy, the games I play? Maybe they inform my ideology and behaviour. My favourite film of all time is Fight. It's an angry, violent film that presents the idea that everything we see these days is an attempt to sell us and that is undermining ourselves as human beings. This highly culturally relevant film has had a great impact on me and I believe shaped in some way my identity by addressing the way I think and see. Marx claimed that these false needs being sold to us, every want and desire such as those we see in the media are presented to us in advertising, are false, and exist so that bourgeoisie, ruling classes, can control the proletariat, you and I, and take advantage of us, putting their politicians into power, putting forward their messages and policies, and most of all, make money. However, what kind of person would I be if I just relied on this one film? Other films like Zeitgeist, bands like Bomb the Music Industry, and Against Me, books like House of Leaves opened my eyes to the wider world and truly helped shape my identity. Culture is highly relevant in shaping the way humans operate, both directly and indirectly, consciously and unconsciously, and this makes me both highly aware and a little uncomfortable, particularly with the idea that culture and in particular religion and the media can shape and manipulate people. Clearly, there is a lot going on in my life that controls and confuses my identity. How can I know who I am when I have all these forces pushing and pulling me to and from? Is my role in society really just as a consumer? A sheep that follows the rest of the flock under the supervision of some invisible and filthy rich shepherd? I'd rather not be. There are much more worthwhile things in life to be than a sheep. A good friend, a good son, someone supportive and worthy of looking up to, a true artist instead of a magpie of identity or a cultural artful dodger. Though perhaps that's part of the fun of it. Maybe it doesn't matter that I'm nobody. Maybe I can be everybody.